I walked into the office thinking it would be another normal morning, but the air felt strange the moment I stepped inside. People were whispering near the entrance. Their eyes slid toward me and then away, like they knew something I didn't. I tried to ignore it, but my chest tightened with every step I took toward Ayla's cabin. When I opened the door, I froze. Ayla stood beside a tall man in an expensive suit. She didn't look at me. She just kept adjusting her hair like I wasn't even in the room. "Ayla?" I said softly. "Is everything okay?" She finally looked up, but her eyes felt colder than the AC blowing above us. "We need to talk," she said. The man cut in before I could respond. "So this is him." His voice carried a lazy confidence, like he owned the room. "Interesting." I stared at him. "And you are?" Ayla stepped forward. "This is Ryan. He's our new investor." I tried to smile politely, but something felt wrong. "All right," I said. "So what's this about?" Ryan smirked like he already knew the ending of a joke I hadn't heard. "Go ahead, Ayla. Tell him." Ayla crossed her arms. "You're fired." I blinked, thinking I heard her wrong. "What do you mean I'm fired?" "For what?" "For underperformance," she said quickly. "Poor communication. Weak leadership. You've been slowing the team down." My mouth fell open. "Underperformance? Ayla, we worked on the last project together. You said it was perfect." "That was then," she said. "Things change." I stepped closer. "At least tell me what I did wrong. You know I've given everything to this job." Ryan laughed under his breath. "This is getting uncomfortable." I ignored him. "Ayla, please talk to me. If I made a mistake, let me fix it." "Stop," she snapped. "I don't need you questioning my decisions." Her voice cut deeper than her words. This wasn't the woman I fell in love with. This was a stranger wearing her face. "Is this really about the job?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. Ryan stepped closer to her like he was marking territory. "She doesn't need employees who drag her down," he said. "She deserves people who can keep up." My chest burned. "So you fired me to impress him?" Ayla looked away. "This is a professional decision." "Professional?" I whispered. "You could have told me privately. You didn't have to humiliate me in front of everyone." She sighed impatiently. "Can you leave already? I have a meeting." "Ayla, please," I said. "Look at me and tell me you mean this." She finally met my eyes, but hers were empty. "You were holding me back. I don't need that anymore." Her words punched the air out of my lungs. I felt something crack inside me. I searched her face for a sign that she didn't mean it, but there was nothing. Just cold confidence and Ryan's shadow behind her. Mina rushed into the room. "Ayla, wait," she said. "At least give him." "Mina," Ayla cut her off sharply. "Stay out of it." Saad stood in the doorway, watching silently with his hands clenched. But he didn't say a word. No one did. My voice trembled. "After everything we planned, after everything we shared, this is how you end it?" "This is work," she said, rolling her eyes. "Don't make it personal." "How can I not?" I said. "You're my girlfriend." "Was," she replied coldly. Ryan chuckled. "Ouch." I snapped my head toward him. "You think this is funny?" "It's reality, buddy," he said. "Some people rise. Some fall. Stay graceful." My fists tightened, but I forced myself to breathe. "I gave this company everything," I said to Ayla. "I gave you everything." She didn't respond. I looked around at the office where I spent years building my future, and now it felt like a cage closing around me. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I picked up the cardboard box near the door, the same box I used when I first joined this company. It felt heavier now, filled with broken things I couldn't see. As I walked past Ayla, I whispered, "Why didn't you just talk to me?" She didn't even turn her head. Because I didn't have to. Those words stung more than the firing. Mina followed me out. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "This isn't right." I forced a smile. "It's fine." "It's not," she said. "You didn't deserve this." I nodded slowly. "But it still happened." Saad stopped me before I reached the elevator. "If you need anything, just call," he said. His voice shook. "Thanks," I whispered. "Take care of yourself." When the elevator doors closed, my reflection stared back at me, lost, confused, broken. I didn't even recognize myself. The moment the doors opened on the ground floor, whispers filled the lobby. Everyone already knew. News travels fast when pain is involved. As I walked toward the exit, Ayla's voice echoed behind me. Not loud, but loud enough for my heart to hear. "You were holding me back." I didn't turn around. I just walked out of the building and into a future I never asked for. Every step felt like stepping on pieces of myself. Every breath hurt. Everything I believed in had collapsed in one morning. And yet, somewhere deep inside the pain, a strange fire started burning. But at that moment, all I felt was the weight of her last words tearing me apart. I slammed the door behind me the moment I entered my apartment. My legs felt weak, but my mind wouldn't stop spinning. "What just happened?" I whispered, pacing in circles. How could she do that to me? In front of everyone? My voice echoed through the small living room, bouncing off the walls like the questions in my head. I grabbed my phone and stared at the dark screen, hoping it would light up with a message from Ayla, an explanation, an apology, anything. Nothing. I sank onto the couch. "Why, Ayla? Why?" I muttered as I scrolled through our old chats. "I love you more than life. We'll grow together, you and me. No matter what happens, you're my home." I laughed bitterly. My home? Yeah, right. I opened our photos, smiling selfies, late-night drives, cheap dinners, quiet mornings. All lies. Every picture felt like a slap. I threw the phone beside me and covered my face. Was I blind? Or stupid? I asked the empty room. Maybe both. A sudden buzz broke the silence. I grabbed the phone instantly, heart racing, but it wasn't her. It was my brother. Zane's name flashed across the screen. I answered. "Don't start," I warned before he could even breathe. "What did she do this time?" Zane's voice was sharp, direct. He never sugarcoated anything. "She fired me," I said flatly. "What? Fired you?" His voice shot up. "She fired you from your own project?" Publicly, I added. And Ryan was standing next to her. Zane exhaled hard. "Then forget her. Move on." I shook my head even though he couldn't see me. I can't. Not yet. "Then destroy them," he said without hesitation. "Move on or destroy them. No middle ground." "Zane. I'm serious." She chose her side. "Now choose yours." He ended the call before I could respond. I stared at the screen, feeling a mix of anger and confusion twist in my chest. Destroy them? No. I wasn't that person. Or maybe I just wasn't that person yet. Hours passed. I didn't eat. I didn't move. I just sat there replaying the scene of Ayla humiliating me, the way Ryan smirked, the way she looked through me like I was a stranger. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I hesitated but picked up. "Hello." "Don't hang up," a whisper said. I frowned. Who is this? It's Lena. Her voice trembled. Ayla's friend. Lena. I sat up straight. Why are you calling me? I shouldn't be, she whispered. But I can't sleep knowing what she did. What who did? I asked sharply. Ayla, she said, biting the name like it tasted bitter. I need to tell you something. My throat tightened. Tell me what? She's been seeing Ryan for months, Lena confessed. Since before your promotion. Maybe even before that. My heart thudded. No, that's... It's true, she said quickly. I saw the messages. I heard the conversations. She told us she was waiting for the right moment to end things with you. I felt my hands shaking. The right moment? So the board meeting was planned, Lena said. She wanted to humiliate you. She said it would make her look strong. She said she was upgrading her life. Her words, not mine. I closed my eyes. I didn't cry. I couldn't. Something inside me was beyond tears. Why are you telling me this? I asked quietly. Because I'm not like her, she whispered. And because you didn't deserve what she did. I leaned back, unable to breathe normally. Thank you, for telling me. I'm sorry, she whispered, and the line ended. I let the silence settle again, heavy and suffocating. Upgrading her life, I repeated, the words dripping like poison. Was that all I was? A placeholder until something richer, shinier, better came along. A hollow laugh escaped me. Fine. If that's her upgrade. I hope she enjoys it. I stood and walked toward the mirror. My eyes were swollen, my expression empty, but something new flickered beneath the exhaustion, something sharp. This won't be my ending, I whispered to my reflection. I won't let her be the final chapter of my story. My phone buzzed again, this time, a text from Zane. Decide your path. I typed back, I have. But I didn't send it. Instead, I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the darkness around me. Ayla took everything, I whispered. My job. My dignity. My trust. My voice hardened. But she won't take my future. I stood again, feeling a strange steadiness settle in my ribs. For the first time since the boardroom disaster, I felt awake, fully, painfully awake. I'm done being the broken one, I said aloud. As I reached for the light switch, I paused and whispered, softer but firmer, this pain will become my power, and they'll regret thinking I'd stay broken. I turned off the light. And in that darkness, I made my choice. I will rebuild myself, I whispered. And when I rise, they'll see exactly who they tried to destroy. I stared at my phone for almost an hour before finally hitting call. My voice came out small. Sir Cameron, it's me. He paused for a second. I wondered when you'd show up again. What happened to you? I swallowed hard. Life happened. And it hit harder than I expected. Come to my office tomorrow, he said. If you're serious about rebuilding, I want to hear it from your eyes, not your voice. I'll be there, I whispered and ended the call.
That night I barely slept. They echoed like a curse, crawling under my skin. I repeated them to myself until they felt like fuel instead of poison. The next morning, I stepped into Sir Kamran's new startup office. It smelled like fresh paint and ambition. He looked at me from across the room and raised an eyebrow. You look like you've been through a war, he said. I lost one, I replied. He gestured for me to sit. I took a deep breath. Ayla left. Walked out like I was temporary. He asked. I shook my head. No. He leaned forward. Good. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Because I need a chance, I said. A real one. I want to rebuild. I want to learn. He raised his hand. Don't prove anything to her. His words hit harder than Ayla's ever did. I nodded slowly. He smiled. You start at 0. Everyone does. I'm ready, I said. He stood and handed me a visitor badge. Not visitor anymore. Trainee, for now. Fair, I breathed. He walked me through the workspace. This isn't a job. It's a rebuilding ground. I won't, I promised. By the end of the day, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Direction. Even if it was small, even if it was fragile, it was mine. That night, I set up a small desk in my room. I opened tutorials, courses, coding challenges, anything that could sharpen me. 12 hours later, my eyes burned, but I didn't stop. The next day, I met her. I turned. A girl with glasses and a calm presence stood holding a stack of files. Yes, I said. She smiled slightly. I'm Heba, data analyst. I laughed unexpectedly. Good answer, she said. I followed her to a desk. She pointed to the screen. Broken, I almost said, but instead I answered, mostly basic tech. Good, she replied. Impressive people are hard to teach. Her words surprised me. I'm hungry, I admitted. I can see that, she said. I'm working on something, I mumbled. She nodded. Good. Throughout the week, she checked on me more than anyone else. You look stuck, she would say, then patiently walk me through each step. Her calmness kept me grounded when my mind spiraled back to Ayla. One evening, she glanced at me across the table. I hesitated. She set down her pen. No, I said. Then say it, she whispered. I exhaled shakily. Ayla told me I was holding her back. She left without looking back. Heba tilted her head. My throat tightened. She leaned back. I stared at her. No, she said. Her words landed softly, but they shook me. I'm trying, I whispered. I know, she said. Her conviction startled me. No one had believed in me like that in a long time. Every night afterward, when my doubts tried to choke me, I heard Ayla's voice again, but this time it pushed me instead of breaking me. Fine. Then I would rise so high she wouldn't even recognize the version of me she left behind. Weeks passed. I learned fast, faster than I expected. When I struggled, Heba was there with her calm explanations. When I succeeded, Sir Kamran nodded with approval that felt like fuel. And for the first time, I believed it. I wasn't walking the road I planned, but I was walking the road I needed. I still remember the night I walked into Sir Kamran's office with trembling hands and a shattered heart. Now, months later, I walk into our new workspace with confidence I never knew I could carry. The moment I step inside, Heba waves from her desk. She asks, pushing her glasses up. Huge, I answer, placing my laptop down. She smirks. I shake my head. It's all of us. I'll accept that compliment, she says softly, and I feel that familiar calm she brings. More than ready, I say. He studies me for a second. I always told you that pain produces either fear or fire. I didn't choose it, I whisper. He gives a knowing nod but doesn't push. By afternoon, the deal is ours. A major client, the kind companies like Rayon's dream of holding on to. The entire office celebrates and I hear my name repeated in every conversation. Heba nudges me. You should, she says. Later that evening, Sir Kamran pats my shoulder. You're leading the next project. It already feels surreal, I admit. I smile because I finally can. Weeks pass. One deal turns into 3. My name starts circulating in the industry circles. I hear things. Rayon's company losing clients, Ayla's department missing targets. I pretend it doesn't matter, but it does. It isn't revenge that excites me. It's the proof that I wasn't the problem. One morning my phone buzzes. A name flashes on the screen. Ayla. Heba looks at the phone and then at me. She nods. Okay. They won't, I say, though my chest tightens. I decline the call. It feels like reclaiming a piece of myself. A week later, Sir Kamran says, "We've been invited to the Industry Growth Summit." Heba smiles. "You'll be fine." I don't hide anymore, I tell her. But the truth is, as the event approaches, a strange tension creeps into me. I know the industry. I know who attends these summits. I know I might see them. Still, I go. The hall is massive, filled with lights and people wearing confidence like armor. I walk in with Sir Kamran beside me. A few executives greet him, then look at me with interest. "So this is your rising star," one says. Sir Kamran gestures toward me. I exchange handshakes, answer questions, and notice how easily the conversations flow now. It feels like I've stepped into a version of myself I once thought impossible. Sir Kamran whispers. Before I can respond, I hear a voice behind me. My heart stiffens. I turn. Ayla stands a few feet away. Her eyes scan me slowly, almost nervously. Rayan stands beside her, pretending to focus on his drink, though I see the stiffness in his shoulders. Heba joins my side, giving me silent support. Ayla steps closer. I take a breath. Her lips part, but no words come out. His voice tries to sound casual, but I hear the pressure underneath. I ask before I can stop myself. Ayla's eyes dart between us. "Can we talk?" "No," I say. "It was enough," I reply. Heba subtly shifts closer, anchoring me. Ayla lowers her voice. "Neither did I admit." Rayan forces a smile. "Well, congratulations." "Failure doesn't suit you," I reply calmly. His jaw tightens. I meet her eyes, and for the first time, I don't feel pain, just clarity. "No," I say. "You made a choice." She swallows. "I'm finally myself," I answer. As they walk away, Heba leans toward me. "I expected anger," I say, "or regret." Sir Kamran appears behind us. "I know," he says. I exhale slowly. "No," he says proudly. Later, as I stand near the balcony overlooking the city lights, Heba joins me again. She asks, "I finally understood something," I say quietly. She smiles. She nods. For the first time in months, I feel truly unstoppable. The past isn't chasing me anymore. I'm walking ahead of it, faster, stronger, and finally unafraid. Success tastes different when it's earned through fire. And betrayal? It only makes the victory sharper. I walked into the office early that morning, and Sir Kamran looked up from his laptop. "No," I said, placing my bag down. He leaned back and breathed out. "Rayan's company just lost 2 major investors." I blinked. "Disappeared?" As in Rayan played smart and got caught," he said. I didn't know whether to laugh or sigh. Sir Kamran chuckled. "You're presenting at the pitch meeting tomorrow." "I'm ready," I said. And for the first time, I actually meant it. A soft knock came from my door, and Heba peeked her head in. "You guys heard? People are quitting there," I asked. Heba stepped inside. "The place is a mess. Rayan keeps fighting with the board." I swallowed a strange mix of feelings. "Yeah," Heba said. Sir Kamran nodded at me. "Focus on your pitch." "I am," I replied. But the truth was, Some part of me still felt that old sting, the humiliation. The moment she said I was holding her back. I wasn't angry now, but I remembered. Later that night, I was reviewing the final slides when my doorbell rang. It was almost midnight. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, I froze. Ayla stood there. Her hair was messy, her eyes swollen, and she looked nothing like the woman who once stood proudly beside Rayan. She was shaking. I asked, keeping my voice calm. She whispered. I stepped back without saying anything. She walked in slowly, as if every step hurt. She turned toward me. I know I shouldn't be here. I know I don't deserve to speak to you. I crossed my arms. She took a deep breath and her voice cracked. I stared at her. No, she said quickly. I mean, I ruined everything. Rayan, he never cared about me. He used me. He lied. He controlled everything. Her lips trembled. He called me stupid. I felt nothing. No pity. No desire to comfort her. Just clarity. So now you understand how it feels, I said quietly. She cried harder. I was blind. I chased something stupid and I threw you away. I didn't answer. I just watched her fall apart. She stepped closer. I want to fix things. I want us back. Her voice broke completely. I shook my head. She looked up fast, hope flickering in her eyes. You threw me away, I finished. Her face collapsed again. I know I did, but can't we try again? I did, I said. That's not true, she whispered. You fired me in front of everyone to impress him, I said. You humiliated me. I was stupid, she said. She covered her face with shaking hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I let her cry. I didn't move to comfort her. I didn't feel cold or cruel. I simply felt done. She slowly lowered her hands. Please. No, I said. She blinked. Her voice turned small. No, I replied. Hate takes energy. She stared at me for several seconds, heartbroken. That's it, I said. You made your choice. She wiped her cheeks. I heard about your company. You deserve it, she whispered painfully. I didn't reply. She walked to the door slowly. Before leaving, she looked back one last time. The door closed and silence filled the apartment. A moment later, my phone buzzed. A message from Heba. Good luck tomorrow. I smiled, not because of victory, not because Ayla broke down, but because for the first time since everything began, I felt completely in control of my life. The day we won the giant project, the office felt electric. Sir Kamran's grin was wider than I'd ever seen. You did it, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. I just followed the plan, I replied, though my chest felt like it could explode. Heba looked up from her laptop. She asked, eyebrow raised. Honestly, I did, after everything. I thought I was cursed, I admitted. Lucky for you, fire beats curses, she said softly. Her smile made me feel like someone finally understood the weight I'd carried. By evening, we were trending across the industry. Investors called non-stop. Our email inboxes flooded with opportunities. I sat in the office with Heba beside me, staring at the numbers climbing faster than I could comprehend. I can't believe this, I said. She leaned back. I rubbed my face. It feels unreal. Sir Kamran appeared behind us. You're not dreaming. You're becoming one of the youngest directors in the industry. I laughed dryly. I still hear her voice sometimes. Hui. Let it remind you why you rose, Sir Kamran said. Not because she left. I nodded. The next day, a media crew arrived. Cameras, lights, and microphones. I sat across from a reporter who looked far too young for such a big network. So, tell us, she said. I swallowed. I refused to stay broken. I started from zero. She asked pointedly. I met her gaze. It hurt. But pain can either destroy you or build you. The cameras clicked. Flashbulbs popped. Somewhere I felt Ayla's eyes watching. Sure enough, later that night my phone buzzed. Her name flashed. Ayla. I didn't answer. Then came a long text. Paragraph after paragraph. She apologized. She begged for another chance. She said she never realized how much I meant to her. She promised she had changed. I read the messages once, then left them unread, not because I wanted revenge, but because I finally didn't need closure. I was free. Heba glanced at me. I don't feel satisfaction, I said. She smiled. Good. 2 weeks later, at a public industry gala, I walked in with Sir Kamran at my side. Reporters, executives, and competitors filled the room. Everything felt normal, empowering. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't angry. I was calm. And then I saw him, Rayan. He approached, trying to look casual, but I could see the tension. You've taken everything, he said under his breath, as we shook hands. I don't take anything that isn't mine, I replied evenly. He snapped, louder this time. I worked, I said, holding his gaze. A few people nearby stopped and stared. Murmurs spread fast. You're joking, he muttered, turning red. I repeated. You played dirty, and you lost. His face hardened, but it was too late. Everyone was watching. His power crumbled in silence while I remained steady. Sir Kamran leaned close. Look at that. I nodded, feeling the truth in his words. Rayan tried to find words but couldn't. He became a joke in that room. Not mine, but everyone else's. Later I stood near the balcony, the city lights glowing like I'd never noticed them before. Heba joined me. You handled him well, she said. I didn't want to humiliate him, I said. I just wanted to be me. Calm, focused. That's a rare combination, she said softly. I have, I admitted. She smiled. I shook my head. Especially her. She doesn't control me anymore. Rayan doesn't either. Heba leaned on the railing beside me. It feels unstoppable, I whispered. She laughed lightly. Good. I will, I said. We watched the city together in silence. I didn't feel empty, angry, or heartbroken. I felt powerful, calm, focused, and completely free from the people who tried to break me. Tonight, I realized something important. Success isn't just winning projects or money. It's surviving the fire, standing taller than everyone who tried to burn you, and finally becoming the person no one can shake. I took a deep breath. This is my rise, I whispered. Heba smiled. I looked at the city lights again. And for the first time, I felt untouchable. I woke to my phone buzzing. Her name flashed, Ayla. I froze, waiting. The messages poured in, one after another. You were right. Everything I built is gone. I read them silently. My chest tightened for a moment, not from anger, not from longing, but from the strange weight of finality. Heba, seated across from me, noticed my expression. She's texting again, she said softly. I see that, I replied. Heba shrugged. It's your call. I stared at the messages. Part of me wanted to ignore them, Part of me wanted to close the chapter for good. Finally, I typed, "Meet me tomorrow. Coffee shop. Noon." She replied immediately, "Okay." The next day, I arrived early. Heba had insisted on coming along, not to intervene, but for support. I barely noticed her presence as the door opened and Ayla stepped in. She looked smaller than I remembered. The confident posture, the sharp gaze, all gone. She hesitated before sitting across from me. I didn't know where else to go," she said quietly. "I studied her face." I asked. She swallowed. "But I need it." Her hands trembled over the cup in front of her. "I hurt you. I thought he was better." I leaned back, letting her words sink in. "You never broke me," I said slowly. Her lips parted slightly. "I mean, every time you pushed me down, every time you left, every time you humiliated me, you made me see what I was capable of. I wasn't weak. I was waiting to rise." She blinked, tears forming. "I wish I could go back in time. I would never—" I raised a hand, stopping her. "You can't go back. And you can't change what happened." Her shoulders slumped. "You don't," I said. "And that's fine. You've got your life to reckon with. I have mine." She cried quietly, the kind of cry that comes from someone who finally understands the weight of their mistakes. "I thought I was clever," she whispered. "I thought I was untouchable." "You're learning the hard way," I said, calm and steady. "That's your path." She looked up, eyes glossy. "No," I said honestly. "Hate takes energy. And I've spent mine building something real. I just—" She struggled, words failing her. "Good," I said. "Let it sink. Let it teach you. But don't look for me in it." She swallowed, nodding. "I understand." "You could have," I said, "but you chose the wrong way. That's your lesson." The silence stretched between us, heavy but not painful. I felt the last threads of anger dissolve. I didn't feel light. I felt free. She sniffled. "No," I said firmly. "Not because I don't care. Because I do." Her hands trembled as she pushed her cup away. "You don't need to," I said. "What matters is that you face the truth." She nodded, a single tear sliding down her cheek. I'm sorry," she whispered again, as if the word could repair decades of mistakes. "It won't," I said. "And that's fine. Words aren't enough. Actions are. And your actions brought you here." She nodded once more, her shoulders shaking. "Thank you for this." I gave her a small nod. "You're welcome. But remember, this is the last time we meet." She rose slowly, tears still in her eyes, and left without another word. I watched her go, feeling nothing but clarity. No longing, no hurt, no doubt. Just a calm certainty that the chapter had ended. Heba touched my arm lightly. "I've never been better," I said. "It's over?" she asked. "It feels unstoppable," I whispered. She smiled. I looked out the window, watching the city lights flicker in the evening sky. The past no longer held power over me. Betrayal no longer had a claim. Heartbreak no longer dictated my choices. And with that, the noise ended. For the first time, I was completely free. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped onto the rooftop for the first time since the tower was completed. The city stretched beneath me like a web of lights, endless and alive. I inhaled deeply, letting the cool night air fill my lungs. Heba appeared behind me quietly. She said softly, "It is," I replied, my eyes scanning the skyline. "It's hard to believe this is real." She joined me at the railing. "You did it. You built this." I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Heba glanced at me. I nodded. I hated her then. I chuckled softly. And yet, without that, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't have learned to fight for myself, to trust my instincts. Heba smiled. I leaned on the railing, looking down at the streets buzzing below. She wanted to prove something to Rayan. She wanted to show everyone she had moved on. I was supposed to be her casualty, and you didn't even have to touch her to win, Heba said. I turned to her, and that's the point. I didn't rise to prove her wrong. Heba's gaze softened. You've earned this confidence. I laughed lightly. Peace. That's a strange word. It wasn't peace I had in mind at first. It was anger, then determination, then obsession. But now, this calm, this control. Heba leaned closer. And you found it in yourself. I said it like a mantra. All the betrayal, all the loss, it became fuel. She nudged me lightly. I shook my head. Revenge is empty. I wanted nothing more than to rise above it, to let my life speak, and it has. Heba smiled. I turned back to the lights. I think about the first time I walked into that office, the day she humiliated me. I remember standing there feeling the floor disappear beneath me. I wanted to yell, to fight, to cry, but I couldn't do anything. Heba asked quietly. Now, I feel everything except powerless, I said. I feel strong, free, in control. Heba raised an eyebrow. For the fire she lit in me, I said. If she hadn't done what she did, I wouldn't have discovered what I'm capable of. She nodded. No, I said firmly. I create my own victories. Every project, every late night, every risk. It's mine. Not hers. Not Rayan's. We stood there in silence for a while, letting the hum of the city wash over us. You look different, Heba said finally, her voice soft. Not just successful. Confident. Calm. I smiled faintly. Because nothing can. Not her, not them, not even my own doubts. She glanced at me. I turned to her, eyes reflecting the city lights. Next, I keep building, for myself, for anyone who's been told they're not enough. Heba laughed lightly. I've been ambitious before, but this is different. This isn't about ego or proving people wrong. She nudged me again. I am, I said with no hesitation. We leaned against the railing together, watching the city breathe. No calls, no messages, no shadows from the past. Just the hum of life beneath us and the quiet understanding that I'd survived everything. I whispered to myself, more than anyone else, I made it. Heba smiled beside me. And you did. I looked out once more at the sprawling lights. The fire that betrayal sparked inside me had forged me into something new, stronger, calmer, free. I made it, I repeated quietly, letting the words sink in. Heba gave me a small nod, and for the first time in years, I felt truly untouchable. The city lights glimmered, endless and alive. I didn't need anyone to validate me. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need closure. I only needed this moment, and it was mine.